Hello, my name is Ann LaFemina, and I'm an educational consultant with JRA Educational Consulting. And I'm delighted to bring you this webinar, Strategic Course Selection, Maximizing College Application Success. So for this presentation, I'm hopeful that you will walk away with three main takeaways. First and foremost, this is the time of year when students are asked to submit their course requests, that they're having those conversations with their counselors and their families, and they're looking to see what they should be taking next year. Or if you're an incoming freshman student just starting high school and you're looking to see what classes and courses you should be taking and the pathway that you should be going, this is going to be super helpful for you. You're also going to gain a true understanding of the academic requirements for college admissions. And throughout the webinar, I'm going to highlight actual website pages of colleges where you can see how they spell out what they're seeking in their applicants. And this is a great opportunity to learn how to do this so that you can really be, feeling confident that your course selection is aligning itself with the college expectations to the one that you might be wanting to apply to. And then when you think about the college application process, each college has varying requirements and different strategies on how they evaluate their students for admissions. But, first and foremost, the first line of defense and the first piece of evaluation is always going to be your high school transcript. That is what they're looking at first and foremost. So hopefully you will feel a little bit more confident that your transcript will reflect both your academic excellence and your diverse interests, and you'll be able to sort of see how you could showcase a balanced mix of courses that really highlights your college readiness. All right. So before I kind of go through the how to do all this, I really want to kind of build the case of, how course selection sort of in a very sneaky way is going to really be significant, maybe in ways that you hadn't thought about, right? So obviously the goal is to graduate and satisfy those, graduation requirements in your high school, but how does looking at the classes and selecting those courses really help you? So obviously, first and foremost, anytime that you're taking advanced classes or interesting classes or challenging classes or unique classes that align with maybe your career aspirations, those are going to be standouts within the admissions committee. Really sort of looking to enhance your academic profile, to take your academic profile and to actually show a pathway of improvement, of doing better over time. Enhancing that can help to, showcase your dedication and show your college readiness. And then, of course, when we talk about college admissions, I think it's probably very well known that it's a very competitive landscape out there. So, gaining that leverage over your peers in having the classes and courses, particularly outlined by the colleges that they're seeking, can be so super helpful. Now, when you think about it, how great is it? And I always say, even more specifically, so for ninth graders, 10th graders just starting out, just to try to explore your academic interests and career expectations or aspirations, right? When you think about it, you're in ninth grade, so very few freshmen that I know really sort of have that true sense of what they want to do when they go to college and what they what professional goals that they have. So this is such a great time to just take classes that maybe you hadn't thought about, that might sort of open opportunities for you to learn about different things, maybe help to demonstrate, the further focus of your approach on your academic journey. So I really encourage freshmen and sophomore to kind of think out of the box if you don't know, because taking a class that just sort of stumbled upon, for lack of a better word, can ultimately be the impactful, class that you take and the future pathway of where you want to go. Similarly, if you think about classes or activities, extracurriculars, courses, volunteer, things that you have already an established interest in, but it's outside, then further pursuing those courses within your high school arena can really help to sort of complement but demonstrate that intellectual curiosity and your academic readiness. And throughout this webinar, I will be talking about things such as AP classes, IB classes, honors, dual enrollment. So I will share with you how that can be a strategy in taking those advanced classes in and of itself. So something that students don't realize often or do not really think about in their course selection, which is a strategy, is that colleges will typically ask, and not all, right, but will typically ask for you to submit a teacher letter of recommendation. And we usually recommend that this come from a junior year teacher. But your teachers can really help to support you in this process, not only giving you that glowing letter of recommendation about your character and how ready you are for college, but can really speak to your alignment of what you may want to do. For example, I'll recommend a student who wants to study creative writing, journalism, maybe even social sciences, psychology, sociology, to get a letter of recommendation from their English teacher or history teacher, because there's a lot of writing involved in that. Or let's think about if you wanted to go into pre-med or business, something along that. So a STEM science. A letter of recommendation from a math teacher or your science teacher for that pre-med can really help to support your application and show your readiness. Now, something that students don't always realize as well, but super significant with the cost of college just rising, understanding the financial implications of course selection, right? Because what students don't realize is that when you apply as a first-time undergraduate freshman to college, an admissions committee will evaluate for you for any pre-established scholarships that they have. So aligning yourself and making sure that your courses and grades are up to par so that you meet those requirements, whatever they may be, can actually turn into dollars. Now, if you are a student in Florida, for example, I'm coming from Florida. I'm broadcasting through in Florida right now. So our Florida resident students are very focused on this particular scholarship, the Florida Bright Futures. So, and if that is you, look at this. Here is a very strategic, well mapped out courses that you will need to have in order to meet the Bright Futures requirement. Now, there's a GPA requirement, so that means that your grades have to be, up there, up to par as well. And there are other requirements such as volunteer service hours, work hours, and then, test scores. But if we're just talking about course selection and you want to make sure that you're going to be Bright Futures aligned, one of that criteria is just focusing in on those classes. And I just want to say, Kathy Hart, my colleague and educational consultant from JRA, did an amazing job a couple of weeks ago on this very topic, the bright future. So if you're seeking more information on that, you definitely should go to our website to learn more about that. Now, as I mentioned just ever so slightly before, colleges will look, to evaluate you for any already established scholarships. And here's that example. So this is from the University of Alabama. And if you apply to Alabama and you're admitted and you have that 3.5 plus GPA, so what courses, what grades, maybe what weighted classes do you need to get that? If you have that with these test scores, if it's test considerate, then you will earn this scholarship. If you want to go to the University of Alabama and earn that presidential elite scholarship, you want to have that 4.0 GPA. And so what courses and things are you going to want to take to have that? And keep in mind, when you are being evaluated by a college, you are submitting your grade point average, or you're submitting that application at the start of your senior year. So that means that the colleges are looking at your courses and your GPA at the end of your junior year. But I will share with you the classes that you take in your senior year are also very much being evaluated. They want to make sure that your senior year classes, even though they don't see those grades to potentially the mid-year mark, they want to make sure that your senior year classes are up to par. And I'll get into that a little bit more as well. Right. So let's say you're seeking athletic recruitment. So a Division I athlete, or even other divisions or athletic pursuits, means that you have to align your coursework with the NCAA guidelines. Let me go back to that, with the NCAA guidelines. So look at this. Now, turns out that these requirements are pretty much aligned with a standard graduation requirement, but you'd want to make sure that you're doing all the things that you need with this so that you didn't miss an opportunity for athletic recruitment. This is actually a surprise to a lot of students. So, one component of the admissions process for, some universities, not a lot, but some, you will find this more so with your Ivy League colleges, would be an admissions interview, or maybe even more specifically, an alumni admissions interview. So colleges, when they know that you come from an area where there's an active alumni association, or alumni who volunteer to add an interview component and submit a letter on your, submitted a letter for you on your behalf, you will have an interview. And a very common question in the interview process can be, and I hear this a lot from students who have gone through the alumni interview process, is, tell me a little bit about your academic journey, or tell me a little bit about the courses that you've taken in high school, your favorite class, your least favorite class, and why. Why did you pick those classes, and how did you end up on that path? So this is another sort of case in point for strategic course selection. And I will say, it's not just necessarily an alumni interview. There are colleges that will give you the opportunity potentially to talk with an admissions rep as part of their process. But this is probably the most common and where you'll see this question. And then, as I shared earlier, talking about those advanced classes, which I will get into again, be taking those college credit courses, and that's going to be your dual enrollment. So that giving you the ability to take a college level course while you are in high school, counting towards your high school record, but additionally so can count towards your collegiate record. And so this could be an opportunity for you to get credit and can also be a cost saving feature. And then, this obviously is a strong way to show that you're taking advanced classes or you're on an accelerated path or you're pursuing some of that highest rigor being offered by your high school. And, I think this one is really probably one of the most important. Sometimes freshmen come into high school and, it's challenging and it's hard and the adjustment is maybe not so easy. Or sometimes students have that semester or that year where they're unable to really show their abilities and their true dedication to their academics because maybe something's going on or something like that. So, being able to kind of, have that progression, colleges really do like to see. They understand, okay, so if you're a little bit shaky in freshman year, how are you doing systematically from that point on? Or kind of, how is the narrative of the course selection aligning and complementing, as I said earlier, with those, extracurricular activities? And I find that some of the more successful applications are really where we're able to weave that cohesive story, that narrative of you that aligns with your college aspirations, but it's all very complementary to each other. All right. Now, here's where I'm getting into the how. I've kind of given you the why and sort of all these interesting pieces and background to the process. And, oh, yeah, that's an important point about course selection without really even digressing into that. So here we go. All right. So this to me is something that is really a missed opportunity. So I'm very excited to, bring this to you and sort of showcase and highlight and get you to really be thinking about this. So go to the college websites. Start this you can start this as a ninth grader and, right? So just pick a college that you've heard of. Maybe you have a sibling that's at that college. Maybe you're thinking that right now in middle school, junior high, your classes, your strongest ones were English. So maybe you are going to be that journalism major. And go to the college websites and look through the specific course requirements and preferences for that institution and do it for a couple and start to see where you see some patterns that align with each other. So this is one of my very first tips is to research college expectations. Now, what am I talking about? Now, let me share this with you. Sometimes trying to find this information on a college website takes a lot of patience because some colleges have this spelled out where it's flashing in front of you and you very much can see it. It's like, wow, here it is. I definitely have learned this information. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to navigate, and you're in the driver's seat. So if you ever need to just call a college and get some further clarification on that, I definitely think that is good advice and something you can do. But typically, you'd find this on an admissions page or on the page of the specific maybe major or college within that university of what you are seeking. So for example, this is Purdue University, and I'm going to start on the right side over here. Purdue tells you exactly what the minimum high school course requirements are. What are they seeking? Now, notice this over here, and this is what I'm talking about. Right here, for engineering applicants, chemistry experience is expected. Now, most students do take chemistry throughout their high school year, right? But here's what they're just saying right off the bat. So if you're applying to Purdue and you want to apply as an engineer major, this is a big clue. Now, let's look even more strategically for nursing, pharmacy, veterinarian nursery. They spell it right out. 2 science semesters must be biology and 2 must be chemistry. Now, again, most students do have this, but think about it this way. And if you take this and then you make this even a more advanced class, say an honors class or an AP or ACE, IB, any program that you have that has a little bit more of those accelerated courses, that's going to be a huge deal for that college. They're going to be pretty excited about that to see that and know that you followed what they're looking at. Now, look at what they say here too. Those who pursue the strongest possible college preparatory program and take advantage of any available AP, higher level international baccalaureate or honors courses generally are the more competitive candidates for admissions. Okay. Now, just note the word generally, so that doesn't mean, oh my goodness, I don't have that. But generally so, they're telling you that if you apply to Purdue, this is kind of the students who are coming into Purdue and what they have. Now, again, they further that by giving you, and I have a little bit of my circle here, but they do sort of further that conversation by giving you that heads up. Engineering, science, health-related majors, technology, agriculture, those should be advanced coursework in the highest possible math and science, and this is what they're looking for. Pre-Cal, AP Cal, advanced biology, advanced chemistry, advanced physics. And other things that they love to see would be some of these advanced courses as well. So if you're thinking about any of these majors and you are applying to Purdue and you don't have some of these courses, it may not be that you're not the best candidate. It might just be that you are not aligned and your course selection was not aligned with what they wanted for that major. And I'm going to say this, when you see this typically at one college, I'm just going to move this out of the way. When you see this at typically one college, I find that when one college says something, is that for every college? No, but it could be kind of a general rule of thumb. Now let's look again more into the college websites. Let's look at the business major at Penn State University. Here at Penn State, they make it very clear. If you are applying to their business college, there's additional math requirements. These are things that they are looking for, not only just for their math, but for other colleges as well. All right, minimum units required. And it's a little bit hard to see down here, so I put it over here. But it is Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry plus 1/2 unit of trigonometry, pre-calc or calc. So I have worked with students who have, wanted to gain admissions to the Penn State business program, but suddenly they're in senior year of high school and they notice that they didn't have pre-calc, and maybe they took math for college algebra or another level course and realized, oh my goodness, I think I've missed my opportunity to gain admissions to Penn State because the math class that I took is not the one that they're seeking for admissions. So this is very strategic in making sure that you have this mapped out. Now let's go ahead and look at the University of Michigan as another example. University of Michigan has this all on their webpage. I sort of kind of put a little mishmash of it here together, but I like what they did. So they have outlined for the college or the school of within their university. Let's take a look at the nursing again here. Okay, so nursing, they tell you exactly how many they like to see of each class, generally so, just for admissions. And then they have these little numbers. So for nursing, we're going to go to number 7. Students entering the School of Nursing are highly recommended to have completed 4 units of English, 4 units of math, 4 units of science, including a requirement of 1 unit of biology and 1 unit of chemistry. So if you didn't have that, you might be missing out on your opportunity just in and of itself for not having the right courses or aligning yourself strategically for admissions to the nursing program at the University of Michigan. Now, our California colleges, state universities, and universities of California have a little bit of a different system, but they have what's called an A through G. So they want you to be able to share at the time of applying A, B, C, D, E, F, G courses, very strategic. They are looking at only your 9th through 11th grade classes. So if you are seeking admissions to the state university system of California or the university system, you want to make sure that all of your coursework is aligning and C or oops, let go back. Sorry about that. C or better. Well, this is another example of if you are aiming for a particular college or colleges, how to have yourself ready for that. Now, FSU, I love that they share this with the counselors, and I think they also have this on their webpage. This was from this year, 2023, in-state, the 2023-2024 in-state early action admitted student chart and profile of admitted students for the, for this year, new incoming freshman 2024, but only for their Florida resident pool. So I just wanted to clarify that, but it's probably not too far off the mark. This is great data for us, right? So if you're a student and you really want to gain admissions into FSU, look what they're showing you here, average course units. So the minimum is here in this color here. But in this color, in this blue-green color, they're showing the average course units for accepted students. So if I'm aiming to get admitted to Florida, Florida State University, I'm going to try to plan my courses so that I'm more, in this green range than I'm just in this kind of burgundy range. Right? Because, this tells me that this is a little bit more what they're seeking. Look at this. 63% of their applicants had advanced math classes. So, if you didn't, can you still get in? Yes. But I would say that if you are aiming for that business or engineering or even the biology, you're probably going to want to be in that advanced math category. And look at this, okay? Wow, 76% had all A's and B's. So if I'm wanting to get into Florida State University, this is really helpful information for me to sort of keep myself guided on this path because I know this is what they're seeking. Now, something else that I love to give some insights for students and family is called the Common Data Set. Now, a Common Data Set is available just literally by Googling Common Data Set for the college that you're seeking. And the Common Data Set is a full data sort of profile on everything from that current year, from how the students, how many, male students, female students, majors, breakdown of every specific category in admissions, how much scholarship was awarded, everything. But the part that I like to really focus in on, and you can find this too, is one, when I look at a common data set, I look at what are the units that for that given year that were required, and then the units that are recommended. And then, and sometimes I'll find that this is, obviously always the same, but sometimes higher, like we saw in FSU. And then I love this little, right? Because reading web pages and information, oh my goodness, it's all about the fine print, right? So if you go all the way down here, average requirements, oops, let me get my cursor over there. Average requirements stated above. Requirements vary by program. please reference the Carnegie Mellon Application Instructions booklet on the CMU App Admissions webpage for program-specific requirements. So there you go. That's what I've been sort of sharing with you up to this point. And this section, I keep doing that. This section is where I kind of want to make my next introductory sort of line here. Notice that they also talk a little bit about how they start to evaluate the students. And this can be really helpful. So you can see, like, what are the important elements of my review at Carnegie Mellon? And they tell you right off the bat, in this very important category, rigor of secondary record. They will look at class rank if your school provides it, and then your grade point average, right? So these three factors are in the most or very important category, leading one to believe that your course selection is very important. Now, this to me is what I call the hidden gem in course selection, right? There's two hidden gems I have for you. Here's the first one. It's the high school profile. So oftentimes when I talk to students and families, and I'll say, have you seen your high school profile? And can I see your high school profile? Like, I have a high school profile. What is that? So when you apply to a college or a university, the high school will, along with your transcript, submit their high school profile. Every year, a high school will update their profile, and the goal of that is to not only sort of showcase in having this tool available for people looking at their school, but also to help, obviously, in this college process. And so this is a great tool to see how you're going to be evaluated, right? So the high school profile will share, the classes and courses that they have. And I've sort of, have two here to sort of demonstrate what this looks like. And right, so each high school sort of prepares it a little bit differently, might reveal more information than others. Might be a one-page document, might be a two-page document, but whatever. You can see what this looks like. Now, I think this is important information. It tells you a little bit more here about the grading scale. Courses offered. Here's the grading scale. Here's courses offered. It tells you a little bit here. They tell you a little bit about their enrollment. This one might have it, somewhere else. This tells you about their weighting or weighing of courses. So does this. Now, when you think about it, this is kind of interesting because this grading scale at this high school, they have pluses or minuses. This one doesn't. All right. This one does a quarterly distribution. This one doesn't. So how do you, for example, you may be talking to your best friend who's at another school, and they tell you they have a 5.3 GPA. And you're going, oh my goodness, how am I going to get into the University of Florida when you have a 5.3 GPA and I have a 4.0 GPA? Well, that's actually very possible because colleges evaluate you to your high school profile. And this is very important because they're going to be looking at the rigor that's available to you at your high school. And where did you choose the opportunities to elect to participate in those more rigorous programs? And, so for example, if you're seeking business and your high school offers calculus, they may say, I wonder what happened, why they didn't take calculus and maybe elected to take something else when they knew that they were going into business or engineering or aligning yourself with your major moving forward. So the high school profile is a really, really great place to start looking to see where am I at this current moment? What pathway am I on within my high school profile? So super important. And, I grabbed this from UPenn. Every high school is different, though. So we will review your high school's profile to best understand the types of courses available to you, your school's grading scale, and the ways you can challenge yourself with extracurricular or post-secondary activities, right? There it is. That's just what I said. All right, here's the second one. Remember, the first one was the profile, the course catalog. Okay, so get to be friendly with your course catalog. Find it, go through it, get the descriptions, see if there's any kind of requirements for certain courses, what is the trajectory of courses, and then you can do this either in the company or with your high school counselor, or map it out yourself. So having been the dean of an academic services department, I'm a huge advocate of the 4-year plan. And especially coming into high school or starting with your freshman year, I think this is such a missed opportunity, right? Do you have to completely stick to your 4-year plan? No, but get that profile, get the course catalog, and sit down and map it out. Where do you think where are you starting, and where do you want to be? And how do you get there? And what are the courses? And does your high school allow you to advance, get off tracks, get on tracks? What are they seeking? And then you're aligning this with the colleges that you are aiming to get admitted to. So this is something that you don't really need to do with your counselor as long as you have your course catalog and your academic or your high school profile. This is definitely a great strategy. Now, like I said, sometimes your course catalogs in high school, I'm just going to move this back up here, can also show you the track, right? So if you're saying to yourself, I want to make sure that by the time I'm a senior or even a junior, that I'm at the AP physics level. Where do I need to be? Sort of right off the top. Okay. So looking at tracks within your high school can be a really important part of mapping out that 4-year plan. I think that's really helpful. I actually just want to go back to this 4-year plan because something I forgot to mention is that. And in looking at that course catalog, some high schools have programs, tracks within that. And I'm not talking about this track in terms of the sequence in a course or subject area, but it could be about, you could be in the arts track, you could be in the entrepreneurial track, you could be in the pre-law track or the pre-med track. So sometimes, or the STEM science track, whatever that looks like. So some high schools offer some specialization within your high school programming. So that's another thing to focus in if we go back to that 4-year plan and considering the track or the course sequence of a particular course that you want to aim for getting in a certain direction or landing in a certain place, knowing that the college is seeking this for admissions. Whew, okay. All right, so let's get into some additional implications. So, right, I think this is a little bit about what I talked about earlier, right? Just sort of summarizing, but before I go on, what are your available high school courses? What do they offer? What is your readiness? So I want to make it perfectly clear. I'm not saying in this webinar that, for what you want to do or in order to be admitted to college, that you need to have, all these courses or advance or this track, right? But because it's really about your readiness and the time that you're ready. I think it's most important to get the best grades in the courses that you are most comfortable with. But to really sort of understand how the knowledge of this and where this lands is really about strategic planning in aligning yourself for your career goals and for college admissions and where this all unfolds. So I think that's hopefully a very important part. And, thinking about what are your college plans and what are their policies, right? So do they take those credits? Remember, we talked about for financial consideration to get advanced when you come into college, things like that. And, listen, taking advanced classes or seeking those options comes with, a series of positives and, maybe not necessarily suited for you. So that could be a negative. I think it's very important to weigh all these factors out when you're doing that course catalog. I mean, combing through that, doing that 4-year sequence, and looking at the colleges and what they're looking for in you. Now, if you think about this, and let's kind of circle back to that chart that I shared with you from FSU. And right, so some students were coming in with, more than the core requirements. So, 5 science classes, 4.5 English classes, and so on and so forth. So how do you do that? Well, I think it's really important to think about your electives, right? So electives can be great opportunities for, everything, right? So sometimes in strategic course selection, electives are very much focused on core courses. So that means that above and beyond the sciences, just 3 sciences, well, then a 4th science, right? So an elective can be an opportunity to further yourself in a core subject. But an elective can also be, just a couple of weeks ago, my colleague Ellen Balladares and I did a 2-part webinar series on navigating the arts, application process for performing arts and visual arts. And yes, if this is the track and what you're seeking in your collegiate studies, then it makes perfect sense that many of your electives are going to align with those courses. And I did also want to, sort of give a little bit of a shout out to career technical education and aligning yourself with that track can be very, impactful for what you want to do in post-secondary studies. Not only that, but there are many great career technical courses, particularly like programming, or that can give you certifications in web design or something like that, that can enhance you as an applicant. Maybe it would be on your transcript or not, but these are great opportunities. So electives and taking electives strategically to showcase your unique skills and interests can be an awesome way to go. Okay, so what do we mean by advanced placement? So advanced placement courses are those that are a college level curriculum. They follow a standard curriculum, and a lot of students seek to take advanced placement classes because they are exam-based credit, meaning that you, on your transcript, you can earn an A, B grade, whatever that is, but also by passing that course with a score, typically a 3 or above, can earn you college credit. And so this is a great way to take a standardized course in high school, but it is a college level course and can give you college credit. And definitely shows that advancement, that rigor. And I want to share right off the bat here that typically students who are applying to those top level, or those colleges where the percentage of admissions is very low, are coming to those universities with courses on their transcript that do have these rigorous classes, this advanced placement classes. So that could be one area. There's also the AP Capstone Diploma, which some high schools offer. You can find more about that on the AP website, part of College Board. And I think something that can be super, I just want to go back here. Something else that can be super helpful is that College Board has a section, which is this link, where you can go in and type in the college and then see what AP courses they will accept, and then what exam score you need to have in order for them to evaluate that course. So I think that's kind of a neat thing. Now, you may have heard about dual enrollment, and again, that is the ability for a high school student to take a college course, but actually through a college. So you might find this through a four-year university or a community college where your high school has an articulation agreement with one or sometimes several colleges or university where you can be both a high school student and earn college credit. And we are finding that even more and more students are actually earning their associate's degree and right at the same time that they're earning their high school diploma. That is, that's a lot. That is definitely very rigorous, but some students also like to just dabble in taking a few dual enrollment classes for the reasons that I've already shared. Oftentimes these are free, right? And making it more accessible. AP courses, you are paying for those exams. Dual enrollment is not exam based. So it definitely does give you a lot more flexibility. And sometimes students really love dual enrollment classes because the breadth and depth of courses that are available to them are much more than their high school offers. So this could be a great way to kind of get ahead. Show that academic rigor, align yourself with those colleges, and get a head start on your post-secondary education while still being in high school. Another program that I would like to point out that you find in high schools could be an IB diploma. The IB diploma program offers a comprehensive kind of internationally focused curriculum. It covers a wide range of subjects. There's pre-IB, there's IB courses. In pre-IB, we might have a weighting of the same that would be similar to a honors level course, and then a full IB level course would have a full weight of 1 credit similar to AP and dual enrollment. But IB, and is something that will emphasize that interdisciplinary approach, kind of making those connections across different subject areas, and very much a holistic sort of, means of development, including, community service factors, creativity, critical thinking. So if you have an IB diploma opportunity within your high school, this will show rigor. This could be the right path for you to go. And another sort of well-known or recognized programming that you might find would be an ACE certificate. ACE stands for the Advanced International Certificate of Education. It is a Cambridge University curriculum. It is also a college readiness type of curriculum. It's known for its academic rigor and global recognition. It is a performance end of course exam, very similar to AP. There's definitely a lot of pathways in which you can customize your program, sort of looking at a strategic area or path to follow. And again, it is sort of that, global, well-rounded sort of interconnection of coursework approach, but it's definitely a rigorous pathway. So these are sort of the familiar or things that you might want to find out about in your high school. And then, oh my goodness, taking honors classes, right? Which, after all those advanced, highly recognized and so on and so forth programs, it honors may seem a little bit more minute than those, but they're not. And, enrolling in high school honors courses can be a tremendous value for someone who just needs that additional rigor but may not really want to go for that full advanced level. And it's a great way to sort of help you to sort of even maybe be the next little tiny stepping stone that you might want to start with before you get into those advanced classes. So honors courses are certainly of great value. Definitely, I would say that if it's not an AP or an advanced class and you can take it in an honors setting, that's a great thing to do. So I would definitely not discount the value of an honors course. You won't get college credit for it, but it is definitely showcasing your desire to maximize your learning and to take challenges. Okay, let's kind of put this all together. So let's weigh it all out. So, right, what are the factors that you're going to consider when you're choosing a program? Obviously, it's really all about your academic goals, your learning style, right? So you need to take a program that really speaks to your learning style. Sometimes dual enrollment classes or other coursework can be offered online. Sometimes online learning, right? We learned this a little bit from COVID, is not necessarily desirable for all students or the best of learning styles. So, I think you really want to weigh everything out. You want to think about what are the resources that you have, what's available to you to support you through any program or coursework that you select. And, right, again, it's about those future plans. So sort of aligning, right? That's my $1,000,000 word here. And thinking about what you want to do, your future plans is really going to determine the whole big picture. And you don't have to do this all at once. I loved this. This was from Yale. I grabbed this right from their website, and so I was trying to find out, that what are they looking for? And they were a little bit generally so here, but it was very interesting nonetheless. And I thought it was very good advice. So when you're working through those course selections, you're asking yourself, am I taking a well-balanced academic program? So that's obviously first and foremost. Do you feel that the courses that you're taking are preparing you for college? Do you feel challenged by the courses that you're taking? And, are all of your courses rigorous, particularly compared to what you have at your high school? Are you seeking that challenge? Are your fourth year, your senior year courses, challenging? And again, this is going to be unique and specific to the individual, to you in mapping this out. Remember that a balanced, rigorous coursework is about keeping your GPA. So sometimes someone will say to me, but I took this AP class, I got a C, but I took an AP class. Well, we really want you to take an advanced class, but we want to make sure that you're getting the best grades. So balancing that rigor with your grade point average is really about the key to success. Maximizing your study skills. We can't talk about this without really focusing on having those really good study skills, time management, using a planner, setting those specific goals so that you can balance that academic rigor with making sure that your courses and grades and making sure that you're getting to that, those highest level grades, earning those grades that are going to showcase your academic success. Be an active learner, engage in that learning process, ask questions, participate in your class, go to your teachers, seek help where you need it, take copious notes all the time and make sure that you're retaining that material, and take your notes to your teacher and make sure that your notes are online and ready for your exams. And staying on top of this is so important, especially when you're managing so much with everything that you're doing. And look, you're in high school. Number one, prioritize your self-care and your mindfulness and get that healthy balance. Make sure that you're sleeping and you're exercising and you're relaxing and you're trying to eliminate some of that stress. Put the you first. And, if you don't feel like you're that way or you're getting overwhelmed by your courses, seek help, see your counselor, let someone know, because most importantly, we want you to be healthy while you're taking the maximum courses that you possibly can for college admissions. Right. So finally, just balancing that challenging course load with that strong GPA and participating, and could be summer programs, internships, your extracurriculars, your volunteer, your work schedule, anything like that. So super helpful in maximizing your goals and realizing your dreams for college admissions. And I want to be so clear in this, is that it is really all about selecting, your right fit for your academic journey, for what you want to pursue. This is a personalized situation. And I think it's so important, so hard to do when you're in high school, but you're not your best friend. And you want to focus on finding the absolute best fit. That's not about what your peers are doing, but about what's best for your individual needs and aspirations. JRA, so this is just fabulous timing right now. We have a special that we are running. It's the GPA checkup special, right? Perfect for aligning yourself and figuring out, am I on track with everything? We will meet with you. We'll evaluate your transcript. We'll recalculate your GPA like the colleges do. um wow, yeah. So in that course profile and in looking at your courses and grades to level that playing field, colleges will go to their own GPA scale and come up and create a GPA that is easy to compare with other students from coming in from other high schools. And we can do that for you. We can plan your course progression and take all this information that I shared today, and help you with that and check to see how you're positioned for college admissions. If you have any questions about today's webinar, please email me. I am Ann LaFemina. You can contact me at ann@jraec.com. I would love to hear from you. Hope to have this webinar live, had some technical issues, so I am so grateful to have you on board with me, and ask me any questions if you were planning or hoping to watch this webinar last evening. So please reach out. JRA, all of our consultants do an amazing job with educating you on so many topics of this process, from essays to standing out to learning about testing. So I encourage you to go to scorewebinars.com and just look through that and you'll find something so informative, so wonderful. We encourage you to do so. And with that, I say goodbye. Thank you so much. And I certainly hope that this is helping you or will help you with your course selection. Thank you so much. Goodbye.